It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I could blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag. Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I could blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag. My studio sessions turn into fireworks. These reptiles on me like a Lacoste shirt. Plain Jane make your eyes hurt. Fuck a sponsor. My mission to give it your price, but without the concert. Pandemic showed me I could get it off the muscle. I be grinding year round. Y'all be waiting for the summer. I just fill the gaps. Don't need a light for the tunnel. Y'all looking highly disgruntled. I use the mic for my hustle. Dog, I came up. Triple beam changed up. Built the team, serving up the fiends through the screen. Living out the dream. Still independent. Don't need the red tape. Gang green. Cut the dead weight, that's my headspace. Yeah, I've been a boss, I just now embraced it. Feeling in W9s like an application. Strong mind, advantageous, planning vacations. I put my dogs in the business like I'm Baron Davis. Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I could blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag. Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I could blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. As y'all know, all week we have been covering Nicki Minaj. This has been another saga, another piece of the puzzle. Okay. This week, she's been pump faking about whether or not her album's going to come out, and she's been blaming the hesitance to put her album out on Jay-Z. Okay? She even came out and said that Jay-Z and Roc Nation were once expressing interest in having her signed. She claims that she declined, and she is also trying to make this another one of the reasons as to why Jay-Z and Desiree Perez are making her life a living hell, having people steal from her. Apparently, she was having some type of money issues while she was on tour doing the Gag City Pink Friday 2 tour, which is the most successful female rap tour of all time. But apparently, with all that success, there was some sort of financial troubles that were happening. She claims that somebody that worked at Live Nation was not properly promoting the dates, although she was always bragging about how they were sold out. So I don't know all the specifics. All I know is she's doing a lot of theatrics, a lot of trolling, a lot of antagonizing Jay-Z and Desiree Perez in particular. Just yesterday, she canceled the album, said, Jay-Z, I hope you're happy. And it was supposed to have been some sort of retirement. And less than 24 hours later, she gets back on Spaces or Station Head, whatever this was, and says the album, in fact, is coming out. Very surprising, very shocking. Could see this from a mile away. Nicki Minaj is using all of this controversy, all of this drama, all of this press that she's generating and going back and forth with Cardi B, even at the expense of disrespecting each other's children, going back and forth, in that whole saga for days. We see what's going on here, man. She is trying to get free promo for this album, March 27th, 2026. In the middle of Cardi B and JT having their spat online, she launched the date. And it's been on and popping ever since in a negative way. In the midst of all of this, we also have a fellow YouTuber whom they call a blogger, Tasha K. She's been reporting on these lost funds that Nicki was talking about the other day. She's the one who actually put the name of the stylist out there, DeAndre Tristan. And she's been hit with a cease and desist from DeAndre Tristan, Nicki Minaj's, I guess former stylist now. I guess he's no longer working for her. She says that she filed a police report. We've seen no screenshots or details of a police report. I would think that would have surfaced online by now from somewhere. But according to Nicki and Tasha K, who Nicki told Tasha K, which is something to hold on to there, the police report has been filed. And now DeAndre has reached out to Tasha K with a cease and desist saying that she is defaming him. Right? Now, if you're familiar with cease and desist, they're basically legal warnings, right? Like, hey, I saw something that you did or saw something that you said regarding my name. I don't like how you're speaking on my name or using my name or my likeness, etc., etc. And because of that, I am in a position where I could sue you, but I would like to give you a warning first. I would like to let you know how your behavior is affecting me, and I would like for you to discontinue it, right? And if you persist, then I will move forward with legal recourse, right? So we're going to get into that as well. Tasha K has been uh, speaking further about this situation. She's not backing down. She literally said that she will wipe her ass with the cease and desist, which, if that sounds familiar, she said the same thing to Cardi B years ago. Just yesterday, we also covered Ken Barbie, letting Tasha K know that they have been keeping notes of her for the last 4 months, talking about Cardi in an unceremonious way, and basically saying you're going to find yourself homeless if you keep playing these games. Good luck in court again, right? So we see Tasha K communicating with Nicki Minaj as she released DMs of them speaking, of Nicki telling her about the stylist that's been stealing, which I think it's about time she got rid of that stylist anyway, because if you can remember last year, a lot of people were looking at Nicki Minaj's wardrobe on tour like, what's going on? Now, I have nothing to do with that, but I do remember a lot of people questioning that, right? So glad he got up out the fray anyway. So first, let's get to Nicki Minaj telling her fans that the album is coming back. We're gonna get into the Tasha K situation for a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull up some old footage of Nicki talking to Joe Budden, where she spoke about not necessarily getting charts or getting radio play, and she was saying how certain artists were getting a lot of radio play and therefore charting above her while her fans were buying it, and a lot of people were questioning, well, why don't you just pay for the radio promotions, right? So this plays into my theory of Nicki Minaj not wanting to pay for traditional marketing, traditional advertising, and she would rather use social media rants, outbursts, antics in order to keep the attention on her so that people can be informed about her album rather than using actual music industry approved means to promote. All right, let's get into the little album announcement.
Do what you have to do, okay? Sometimes I forget to come back and tell the Barbs, hey Barbs, and the scene. But and then people be calling me child. I'll be like, what the? But anyway, but just know that I'm in a very, I'm very happy, with you guys and with the next chapter. And nothing is going to stop that. We are in the best musical place I've ever been in, ever in my life. And just complete musical clarity, and also the musical um I don't want to say rebirth, but like almost like an introduction to myself when I started, but not just because of like, not talking about the sound, which is normally what people talk about, but the person. Um, because music is always going to be different. Why would you want it to be the same? But as an artist, sometimes you can listen back to your projects and you can hear who you were as a person. And it's amazing how it affects the art and everything around you. It affects the people. It affects, your 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 peace and clarity and love and gratitude. So, that's what I want you guys to know is that if you feel ever feel off, and if you feel like it's probably because you're worried about something, if it has anything to do with me, please rest your mind. You have nothing to worry about. Not when it comes to me, not when it comes to music, not when it comes to Gag City, not when it comes to the Barbs. Um, but I do feel the love. It's very beautiful, actually.
All right, so that's Nicki Minaj. All right, the album is once again back on schedule. So we've gotten 3 updates within the last week of album coming, album not coming, album coming again. Textbook keeps people talking about you, keeps the album at the tip of people's tongues, even though we've heard no music, no rhymes, no nothing. This is her tactic of promo. Go at Jay-Z, talk shit about them, right? Because that's the biggest target you could possibly have. You got a problem with Jay-Z and you keep badgering it into people's minds. The big question is, what did he do? Why are you mad at Jay-Z? And unfortunately, we have to keep asking this question because she keeps putting it out there and it won't go away. Because who is the bigger target to go at? The relationship clearly isn't in a good place, so she has no problem sacrificing it. But what is the issue? She refuses to say, right? You leave it to Nicki. Jay-Z is allegedly stalking her, telling people to steal from her as if he needs her money, right? Somehow is stopping her from putting out an album, although he's not associated with Republic in any way. I'm sure he knows people over there. I'm sure he's got relationships up there. But she's been making money for Republic for what? 15 years? Made a lot of money for Republic for 15 years. So I don't think that they would just throw that relationship out the window for Jay-Z when he ain't bringing no money over there. Just sounds crazy. Um, but again, if she happens to wake up on the wrong side of the bed, it's because Jay-Z kicked her in the back over there. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. Wild right now, man. And as you'll see in these texts that she sent to Tasha K, she's alleging that a doctor has even stolen her money. Now, who the doctor is or what the doctor was, you know, being asked to do, we don't know. So let's get into this Tasha K saga quickly because I don't want to spend a lot of time here. But let's just do it while it's going on. So this is the original post from the other day from Tasha. She says, Nicki Minaj filed a police report against DeAndre Tristan, the stylist, last week for stealing money. Other names are expected to drop soon. We'll keep you updated. This was the initial piece. She then proceeded to follow up with this. A couple days ago, Nicki Minaj's stylist DeAndre Tristan, aka DeAndre Wills, was allegedly convicted of credit card fraud back in 2010. He allegedly changed his name. Apparently, Nicki isn't the first or the last victim. Calling all celebrities, hide your purses. Stay tuned. I'm waiting on confirmation concerning a doctor that was allegedly stealing from her as well. Right? So these were the reports that were put out from Tasha on August 14th, 2 days ago. Right? Well, now she's released DMs with Nicki showing exactly where she got this information from. So this here is the post from Tasha on Instagram where she publicizes her DM thread with Nicki from Monday. All right. So this is Nicki Minaj, Barbie Nicki Minaj. Says DeAndre been stealing. I filed a report in Cali a couple weeks ago. So it looks like he's not the only one that's been stealing money. A doctor was caught red-handed today as well. DeAndre Tristan stylist equals thief. Report filed. We see Tasha K come back and say on it, right? So that information was given to her Monday night. Then Nicki proceeded to start putting the charges out in her Instagram story. Tasha K then follows up and starts putting out DeAndre Tristan's name, saying he's been stealing, all of this type of stuff, right? And as you can see, Nicki also spoke on the doctor. You see it, okay? Once Tasha's reporting began to catch some wind, DeAndre Tristan reached out to Tasha once again with the cease and desist. It says, your defamatory statements regarding DeAndre Tristan. Dear blank, we represent DeAndre Tristan. We write with urgency to address your defamatory and unlawful conduct and serve a first and final warning of the severe legal consequences that will follow unless you immediately retract your false statements and issue a public apology to Mr. Tristan. Specifically on October 14th, 2025, through your ex Twitter account, you published multiple posts falsely accusing Mr. Tristan of criminal conduct, including statements that Nicki Minaj filed a police report against DeAndre Tristan, the stylist, last week for stealing money. In another ex social media post that same day, he was allegedly convicted of credit card fraud back in 2010. He allegedly changed his name. Apparently, Nicki Minaj isn't the first or the last victim, calling all celebrities hide your purses. You then amplified these falsehoods on Instagram by reposting the defamatory statements via your blank account. Your statements concerning Mr. Tristan are unequivocally false, and you either knew or should have known them to be false. Mr. Tristan has never been charged with any crime, the subject of any criminal investigation, or convicted of any crime of any kind. Your posts are fabricated and malicious and appears calculated to harm Mr. Tristan financially and reputationally, despite the absence of any truth or good faith to your false statements. Given your large social media following, your false statements have spread virally, been republished by other social media outlets, and have caused immediate and devastating harm to our client's reputation, livelihood, and well-being. Mr. Tristan has received threatening and abusive direct messages on social media, text messages, and phone calls from friends and business associates concerning your defamatory statements. Included in this harassment are what appears to be an army of Nicki Minaj's fans engaging in a coordinated effort to threaten, harass, and intimidate Mr. Tristan because of your false public statements. The reputational damage caused to Mr. Tristan within his professional community and within the public at large are all directly traceable to your deliberate and reckless conduct. There's more. Even more shocking is that you know the direct consequences of publicly defaming people, as you had to file for bankruptcy protection in order to reduce your liability to Cardi B for defamation. Holy shit, they went there. That's a hell of a cease and desist. Damn. Given that you falsely accused Mr. Tristan of a crime, your actions constitute defamation per se under applicable law, as they falsely accuse our client of serious criminal offenses and impugn his honesty and integrity. That means you will be found liable for defamation, and the only issue for a court will be the amount of compensatory and punitive money damages you owe to Mr. Tristan as a result of your conduct. Accordingly, demand is hereby made that you, 1, immediately issue a public retraction and apology on all social media platforms where you published or shared the defamatory content in a form and manner ensuring that it reaches an audience commensurate with the original falsehoods. And 2, provide written confirmation within 48 hours that you will cease and desist from any further defamatory or harassing statements or actions concerning Mr. Tristan. Failure to comply will result in immediate legal action seeking full damages, including compensatory and punitive damages, injunctive relief, and all attorney's fees and costs incurred. Furthermore, as we are on the cusp of litigation, you are hereby instructed to implement a litigation hold. You must preserve all social media posts, direct messages, emails, text messages, documents, communications, and any other materials in your possession or control created from October 1st to the present that pertain in any way to Mr. Tristan. Any destruction or alteration of such evidence will be met with the most severe legal sanctions. Okay? And we've been seeing Milagro go through this very same thing, where she was trying to delete, alter evidence text messages of herself to Tory Lane's father, etc., etc. And now she's having to pay sanctions because she didn't take the necessary precautions of securing and keeping all of the evidence once she was given her warning. They say this is your first and final warning. We are prepared to use every legal tool at our disposal to hold all of the wrongdoers fully accountable for the harm caused. Govern yourself accordingly and consider yourself on notice. This letter is issued without prejudice to our client's rights or remedies, all of which are expressly reserved. Kind regards. So Mr. DeAndre Tristan's legal team has reached out to Tasha K, giving her a warning. They're asking for a public apology and retraction of her statements. And Tasha K then replied, I wipe my ass with your cease and desist. Okay? Now, being that we're able to see that Nicki Minaj and Tasha K are in direct contact, many people are coming with the belief that it's been Nicki Minaj the whole time who has been feeding Tasha K information all the way back to her issue with Cardi B. I cannot say that confidently or with any certainty. I'm just saying that's what people are believing. You can go on social media and see it. I don't know. I can't say what anyone is doing, but you can clearly see that she was fed this story directly from Nicki Minaj. So at bare minimum, we know that she is doing some sort of dirty work for her in the press, right? And rather than let it come out on its own, she's breaking stories, which is always a tricky game, you know what I'm saying, which her and Milagro have seen the pitfalls of, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be first, trying to tackle the subject while nobody else has it. It can definitely propel you, it can definitely get you a lot of attention. You can even monetize and make decent money off of it. But once you defame somebody off a story, trying to break it first, you also share an immense amount of liability. And the people that gave you the story, the people that told you the information, are they going to help you? Probably not. So Tasha K decided to double down, and she got on the line on her live with a former employer of Mr. DeAndre, because there are reports out there that he was allegedly stealing from people back in 2010. This former employer, alleged employer, I'll say, said that he was also pulling the same moves working for her in retail. So there seems to be some sort of history with this guy DeAndre of stealing. I don't know him, so I can't defend his honor or his integrity. All I can do is talk about what's going on.
How are you, Mama?
I'm hanging in there.
We're gonna skip some of this.
There's a $7,000 charge, $5,000. I mean, she just started screenshotting, and specifically, and that's what makes me like really wonder, like, how would you know it's an American Express? So that means other people have access to her American Express. Isn't that called boosting? But here's the thing, Miss Kim, do you want people to know your first and last name and who you are and how you know DeAndre?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. So my name is Kim Brown. I owned a store called Fresh of Georgetown in Washington, D.C. for over a decade. And I was one of the leads in the area. I worked with BET. I did a lot of different things in the Georgetown community, and it was when it was popping. A part of the ecosystem that I was a part of was Georgetown Cupcakes and Sweet Green. So those were my peers. However, I didn't make the transition from, brick and mortar to e-commerce. How I know DeAndre, he first started as a customer, and then he was looking for employment. He did not have much retail experience, so I brought him on board, and then very energetic, very likable, friendly. We also, meshed because we're Sagittarius, and so I'm sure he did that with Nicki. So just very, very friendly. People are just, slandering her name. Bottom line is, back in the Obama era, this is when he was working for me. So about 2008, 2009. This is before Square. So we had, you swipe the card with credit card machine. And then when you swipe it, all of your information comes up. So what I found was a lot of customers were calling me and saying, hey, you've double charged me, or I'm seeing charges that are not recognizable. And the last place that I used your card was at your store. And so at first I didn't kind of put it together. This was again around the Yelp era. So then I started getting like bad reviews. It was just a very stressful time. Then Zara, which was had a flagship in Georgetown, they called me and said, "Hey, Kim, we have one of your employees over here stealing using your sensor gun." And so I had, became friends with him, but I had to let him go because I was one of the few Black people in Georgetown that owned a business and owned the $1 million building in Georgetown. So I didn't just rent a building, I owned it, and I made way for Georgetown Cupcakes. So that's pretty much, the nutshell. I've kind of stayed low key over the years. The last time I've spoken with DeAndre was about October 2024. I have text messages of that. I'm not going to divulge the person's name yet. His name's Terry. I'm not going to divulge his last name. Him and I are extremely close. And basically, DeAndre did some things. I won't elaborate right now. He did some things and I kind of try to quarterback it. So I reached out to DeAndre and said, hey, that's not right what you did to Terry. And, you guys been, childhood friends. How can we mend this?
I'm going to let Miss Kim go. Thank you so much.
All right. So as you can see here, Tasha was speaking to an alleged former employer of DeAndre, and she's saying that while he worked for her, she was also being stolen from. Well, not her in particular, but her customers, right? He was double charging people's cards, and he was basically jugging. Y'all was hey, what does jugging mean? Jugging is scamming. Jugging is goddamn finessing. Jugging is getting it how you live based on how somebody else live. All right? So that's what he was allegedly doing. I can't say whether or not he did it. That's just the story surrounding his name at this point. And again, people felt like he was jugging with the wardrobe that he was giving to Nicki Minaj on her tour anyway. So it sounds like he's been scamming just off of that. But for me, we'll have to see what comes next. Now, for the last piece that I want to talk about here, once again, is the pull-up episode that took place between Nicki Minaj and Joe Budden a couple of years back, where once again, she was talking about all these artists that were charting higher than her, although she had so many fans that were supporting her music, buying her music, and she was hitting these iTunes charts and hitting those metrics on iTunes. But when it came to Billboard, I guess she wasn't hitting that number one spot as she was hoping for. And she was wondering why, right? And she was saying, she was complaining about how certain artists with airplay, radio airplay that is, chart higher than her, where she gets a lot of direct sales, right? And she was like, if I could just pay for whatever I want, I would, but that's not how it works. Now, for me, I find it very interesting that we have this artist who once upon a time dominated at radio at the height of her career was all of a sudden complaining about radio, which has led to some of her fans feeling like she's been blackballed in some sort of way, when I don't think that's the case at all. I just think that the label is clearly not spending as much on radio, right? And I would even go as far to say maybe she's just pocketing the album budgets and saying fuck the radio. Because last project she put out, there was only one video. She shot that video at her house for Red Ruby the Sleaze. People got on my head about, the backyard video and all that stuff. But that's what it was. So I would say Republic has all the resources. Why don't you talk to them about utilizing them? But let's play the audio real quick. I'll try to get through as much of it as I can before getting exhausted.
I totally agree.
Somebody showed me to this. This is the last thing. One of my fans pulled something up, and it says, "Wait a minute, this artist's song came out, and it's not on Spotify, top Spotify. It's not on top Apple. It's not on top iTunes. It's not on top Amazon. But their radio play is 5 times what Nicki is getting. Why?" And then 2-3 weeks from now, they'll tell y'all, "Look, this song is better than the songs Nicki dropped because see, it's so high on Billboard."
Better is subjective. You shouldn't be worried about somebody saying that their song is better than yours. You're supposed to be the best rapper, ain't you? But we'll continue.
So you're telling me that if an artist drops a song and clearly the people are playing it and it's top 10 on Apple for 2 weeks and it's top on Spotify and it's top, the radio can decide if they want to play that song or not. And then it makes that artist looks like, oh yeah, people ain't feeling your stuff.
Let's be clear here. The radio deciding to play a song, that's a very small percentage of songs on radio. I'm sure even y'all who don't work in this industry, and some of y'all do behind the scenes, y'all don't be telling me what y'all be doing in the industry. Some of y'all do though. But even as somebody who doesn't, y'all know the radio don't just pick, oh, that's a nice song, we're gonna play it. Yeah, if you're doing underground radio, internet radio, local radio, Icecast radio, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. You could do that all day. But the iHeart stations, the big stations, the ones that are the flagship that are, you know, in partnership with the tours that come to town and all that shit, they not just picking the song they like. They picking the songs that are paid for through advertising. We know that this is the game. Ebro has spoken at length about when you come to the game, you got to pay for advertising. That's how you funnel the money from the label. The label pays X amount of money for the advertising. We funnel the songs from the label, right? It's not payola, it's advertising. And the music just happens to be an advertisement for the label. It's just the way that it's been cleaned up, right? So again, don't make it seem like radio are picking the songs that are musically the best. Because if they were to pick the songs that were musically the best, really it would be a bunch of people that y'all probably never heard of on the radio every fucking day, taking up all the time. Not that people really listen to the radio as much as they used to anyway, but it does matter.
What does this all mean? People need to think about it. Because my fans have been talking about this, saying, Nicki don't care about being on the radio. Why would an artist not want to be on radio? Use your brains. Use your brains. But now we're going to do this on another show, Joe, and maybe we can do this on live or a Zoom or something. I want to have an open dialogue about this. Now, Billboard just changed the rules again about what's going to count and what's not going to count. Now, to me, and I don't know this, I'm not bad-mouthing anybody or anything, but to me, it makes me feel like, well, once they realize the fans have the power or the artists have the power again, they do stuff to pull the old switcheroo.
Yeah.
And my fans are like, oh, no, you can pay to have your songs on the radio, and you can pay, and then Nicki doesn't want to pay to have her songs on the radio. Can y'all stop talking? What if y'all don't know what the fuck y'all be talking about, people, please? That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Some things are being paid for with cash. Some things are relationships. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that go into this industry that I can't mention for a lot of reasons, right? But just use your brain. If I could pay to have whatever the fuck I wanted, why wouldn't I pay for it?
I don't know. Why aren't you? I mean, you're Nicki Minaj. You're not some artist coming out of Queens that ain't nobody ever heard of. So with your name recognition, if your team, not you personally, because you get yourself fucked up doing that, but if Republic came to the table with a Nicki Minaj record, with Nicki Minaj name, the proper budget of whatever it's going to take, 250,000 to 500, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, your shit would go. But no, you're taking the money. You're keeping the album budget. You're making the album budget. You're making the album in-house. You don't be having a lot of major producers on your shit, right? You was trying to start your Heavy On It label. You had a stable of unknown artists that you were bringing into the fold to help you put together your last album. So you're doing everything with a shoestring budget to not have overhead, but then you want to complain about not getting certain results. I think that's counterintuitive, but that's just how I see it. You know what I mean? And I feel like Drake's been pulling that same move, or trying to pull that same move. For whatever reason, they haven't been investing so heavily in radio for him neither. His album rollout has been controversy as well. Let me keep doing Kendrick diss records and dissing Kendrick every couple bars in my new singles. I'm going to leak them online and see how the fans react to it. And if they like it, upload it on Spotify on Friday and see if it charts. He been throwing shit at the wall all year, not wanting to pay, not wanting to actually focus on a rollout. He did this whole Iceman rollout. Let's do this Iceman thing. Y'all are going to follow me around to no destination. Followed you around for 3 episodes and we got nowhere. I'm going to play a couple of snippets per episode. Let's see which one they like from the episode. We're going to put it out on Friday. Throws a wet noodle at the wall and that bitch comes right down to the floor. Instead of actually using the proper channels, you know the proper channels to go through to release your music. But because you were at odds with the label, you couldn't rely on the label to do anything for you. So you had to do it this way, right? Look at Wayne with how he launched the Carter 6. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm heartbroken. I didn't get the Super Bowl. Kendrick got the Super Bowl over me. I'm heartbroken. Fuck Kendrick, this, that, and the third. I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. Next thing you know, he got a commercial out promoting Carter 6 with some fucking CeraVe commercial. Come on, man. I know y'all been like, yo, somebody please do the Fall of Young Money series or video. I'm going to tell y'all now, I ain't the one that's going to do it. I don't got the time for it. But it feels like they're all pulling from a similar playbook. Gotta be honest. And it hasn't really worked. You know, they're able to still put numbers on the board because of their name, because of their fan bases. But overall, all 3 of them are struggling in the general hip hop space because their music has gotten stale. They're pulling from old antics that no longer work. And it ends up looking bad. Ends up looking like the high school kid that was popular trying to cash in their popularity at 40. And it's like, it don't work like that. It's Uncle Rico still trying to take state, you know? So there's that. Come to the table with a real album. Tell your label, like, let them spend the actual money. And a lot of artists take the advances and shit like that because they know that they're probably never going to get those royalties on the back end. It takes a lot to recoup. So it's a lot that goes into this stuff, but at the same time, don't come out and complain about it because you know that you ain't been applying yourself in that area. You know? That's all I'm saying. But I'll digress. We'll move on to other things, man. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please.
I could do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I ran for filth. The sympathy cause consulting for the stacks I built. I had to evolve and grow, cause I could've